Most people wake up and immediately lose the day. They reach for their phone, scroll through other people's highlight reels, check messages from people who don't even matter, and by the time they drag themselves out of bed, they've already surrendered their mind to chaos. The Stoics? They understood something most people will never learn. Your day is won or lost in the first hour. Your mind is either a fortress or a battlefield, and the difference comes down to 7 daily practices. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus did every single day to become unbreakable. And if you actually apply these, your life won't just change. You'll change. Let me guess. You're tired of starting over. Tired of feeling like you're drifting. You set goals and break them by Tuesday. You know what you should be doing, but something always pulls you back. Here's what nobody tells you. Discipline isn't about motivation. It's about systems. Daily, non-negotiable rituals that remove decision-making from the equation. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius commanded armies, governed an empire, faced plague, war, betrayal. Yet he never missed his daily practices. Seneca was one of the richest men in Rome. Epictetus was born a slave. Different lives, same 7 habits. And modern neuroscience? It backs up everything they did 2,000 years ago. Now here's the thing. The 5th practice on this list is something 99% of people have never even heard of, and it might be the most powerful one. But first, let me show you where most people go wrong from the moment they open their eyes. Thing number 1, wake up with purpose. Imagine this. Rome, 180 AD. The most powerful man in the world wakes up in the dark. No alarm, no servants rushing in, just him and his thoughts. And the first thing Marcus Aurelius does, he sits, and he thinks about everything that could go wrong today. This is called Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of evils. Most people do the opposite, right? They try to think positive, manifest good vibes, hope for the best. And then when the day punches in the face, because life always does, they crumble. The Stoics prepared for chaos before chaos arrived. Marcus would sit there and visualize betrayal from his advisors, sickness spreading through Rome, his own children disappointing him. He'd see it all in his mind first, feel the emotions, work through the responses. So when it actually happened, he was ready, not surprised, not shaken, ready. Think about your life right now. When was the last time you actually prepared your mind before the world started demanding things from you? Before the texts, the emails, the problems. You just react all day and wonder why you're exhausted. Here's what you do tonight. Before you sleep, you spend 5 minutes visualizing tomorrow. Not fantasy, reality. See the difficult conversation, the temptation to quit, the moment you'll want to check your phone instead of doing the work. Play it in your mind. Decide how you'll respond. Lock it in. Do this for 7 days. You'll notice something shift. But visualization only works if you pair it with the second practice. And this one makes most people uncomfortable. Thing number 2, practice voluntary discomfort. Seneca was filthy rich. Mansions, servants, every luxury Rome could offer. Yet several times a month, he'd do something strange. He'd dress in rags, sleep on the floor, eat the cheapest food, live like he'd lost everything. Why would someone with everything choose to have nothing? Because he understood a truth most people run from. Comfort is a slow poison. When you only know comfort, you become fragile, weak, terrified of losing what you have. Your happiness depends on things staying perfect. And life is never perfect. The Stoics called this the rehearsal of poverty, training yourself to need less, to be okay when things fall apart. Modern psychologists call it stress inoculation. Same principle. You voluntarily expose yourself to discomfort, so real suffering doesn't break you. You felt this before, haven't you? That moment when something goes wrong and you completely fall apart because you spent so long avoiding discomfort that you forgot how to handle it. Your ancestors survived famines, wars. They walked miles in the cold, and you panic when your Wi-Fi cuts out. Tomorrow morning, cold shower, 2 minutes, No excuses. Not because cold water has magical benefits, but because you need to remember you could do hard things. That discomfort won't kill you. That you're stronger than your comfort zone tells you. Start there. Then fast for a day. Have the difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Do the workout that scares you. The point isn't suffering. It's sovereignty. Control over yourself when everything feels out of control. But here's what most people miss. You can do cold showers all day, but if you don't master the third practice, you're still losing. Thing number 3, guard your attention like your life. Epictetus said something that should be tattooed on every phone screen. If you don't wish to be hot-tempered, don't feed the habit. Give it nothing to help its increase. Your attention isn't free. It's everything. Where your attention goes, your life follows. And right now, your attention is being sold to the highest bidder. Think about this. Marcus Aurelius ruled Rome without Instagram. Seneca became the greatest writer of his time without podcasts. They had no notifications, no feeds, no algorithm telling them what to think about. And they accomplished more in a year than most people do in a lifetime. The Stoics were obsessive about guarding their minds. They didn't let random people speak into their heads. They chose what entered carefully, deliberately. You're letting 1,000 strangers program your thoughts before breakfast. Every notification is someone else's priority interrupting yours. Every scroll is a vote for distraction over creation. Every minute on someone else's highlight reel is a minute stolen from building your real life. Be honest. How many hours did you lose this week to content that didn't make you better? That didn't teach you anything? That just made you feel worse about yourself? The Stoics would look at modern life and be horrified, not because technology is evil, but because we've surrendered the one thing that makes us human, the ability to choose what we think about. Delete one app today, the one you check most compulsively, the one that makes you feel worse, not better. Replace that time with reading, walking, thinking, anything that's actually yours. And here's the rule. Nothing enters your mind in the first hour you're awake. No news, no social media, no other people's problems. Your morning mind is sacred. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. But even if you control what enters your mind, you need to control what leaves your mouth, which brings us to the 4th practice. And this one, most people can't do it for more than 5 minutes. Thing number 4, speak less, observe more. Epictetus taught his students something radical. Nature gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them in that proportion. In a world of noise, silence is power. The Stoics understood. Most people talk to feel important, to fill space, to avoid sitting with their own thoughts. And in doing that, they reveal their weaknesses, their insecurities, their lack of depth. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, barely spoke. When he did, people leaned in because his words carried weight. Thought, intention. Compare that to now. Everyone's shouting, arguing online with strangers, posting opinions about things they don't understand. More words, less meaning. The Stoics did the opposite. They observed, they listened, they waited until they had something worth saying. And when they spoke, it mattered. Think about yesterday. How many words did you speak that you regret? How many times did you jump in to defend yourself when silence would have been stronger? How many times did you talk just to talk? Here's the truth most people won't accept. Your words lose value the more you use them. When you're always giving your opinion, always reacting, always in every conversation, you become background noise, forgettable. But when you speak rarely, with intention, with weight, people remember. For 1 full day, try this experiment. Cut your words in half, literally. Before you speak, ask, does this need to be said? Does it need to be said by me? Does it need to be said right now? If the answer to all 3 isn't yes, stay quiet. Listen more. Observe more. Let other people fill the silence. You'll be shocked what you learn about them, about situations, about yourself. But here's where it gets interesting. Because the 5th practice, the one I mentioned at the start. This is where most people's understanding of Stoicism completely breaks down. Thing number 5, do the hard thing first. Marcus Aurelius would wake up, and his mind would do what every human mind does. It would try to negotiate. Stay in bed. It's cold. You're tired. You're the emperor. You can start later. And every single morning, Marcus had the same response. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. He didn't wait to feel motivated. He didn't do the easy stuff first to build momentum. He went straight for the hardest thing on his list because he understood. The hard thing doesn't get easier if you wait. It gets heavier. Procrastination isn't about laziness. It's about fear. Fear that you'll fail. Fear that you're not good enough. Fear that the hard thing will break you. So you do busy work instead. Check emails. Organize your desk. Anything to avoid the one task that actually matters. The Stoics call this the law of duty. Do what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, how it needs to be done. No negotiation. You know exactly what your hard thing is right now. It's been sitting there for days, maybe weeks. The project you're avoiding, the conversation that scares you, the workout, the application, the apology. And every day you don't do it, it gets worse. The weight increases. The fear compounds. Here's the system. Tonight, before you sleep, identify the one thing that if you completed tomorrow would make everything else easier or irrelevant. Write it down. Put it where you'll see it first thing. Then tomorrow, you don't check your phone. You don't ease into the day. You attack that one thing first, before breakfast, before anything else can interfere. Finish it, not perfectly, not beautifully, just done. Do this for 7 days and you'll understand why Marcus Aurelius conquered more before noon than most people do in months. But there's a shadow side to discipline that nobody talks about. And the 6th practice? It's the one that separates people who just work hard from people who actually live. Thing number 6, practice negative visualization. Every night. Seneca would do something most people would call morbid. He'd imagine losing everything. His wealth gone, his friends dead, his health destroyed, his own life ended. This is memento mori. Remember, you will die. And with that memory comes the most important Stoic practice, negative visualization. Here's what most people get wrong about this. They think the Stoics were pessimists, dark, obsessed with death. It's the opposite. They loved life so much they refused to take a single day for granted. When you imagine losing something, you suddenly see it clearly. That person you take for granted, that health you assume will always be there, that opportunity that won't last forever. Marcus Aurelius practiced this every morning. He'd think, the person I'm about to see today might be rude, ungrateful, arrogant, not to make himself miserable. But so when it happened, he wasn't disappointed. And when it didn't, when people were kind, that became a gift instead of an expectation. Think about who you love most in this world. Now imagine they're gone tomorrow, not as punishment, not as anxiety, as reality, because they will be, eventually. Does that change how you speak to them today? Does that change the things you left unsaid? The time you wasted on stupid arguments? The Stoics didn't practice this to be sad. They practiced it to wake up, to stop sleepwalking through the most important things. Tonight, before you sleep, imagine you lost the 3 things you care about most. Really feel it. The emptiness, the regret, the words you wish you'd said. Then open your eyes and realize you still have them. Right now, today, this moment that you were about to waste worrying about nonsense. That gratitude, that clarity, the Stoics had it every single day. Which brings us to the 7th and final practice, the one Marcus Aurelius never missed, the one that ties everything together. And if you only do one thing from this video, make it this. Thing number 7, evening reflection and self-audit. Every night, without exception, Seneca would light a candle and ask himself 3 questions. What did I do wrong today? What did I do right? What did I fail to do? Not to beat himself up. Not to drown in guilt, but to improve. See, Most people go to sleep and just hope tomorrow will be better. They make the same mistakes, fall into the same patterns, react the same way to the same triggers, and they wonder why nothing changes. The Stoics knew you don't improve by accident. You improve through honest self-examination. Marcus Aurelius kept a journal, not for publication, not for anyone to read, just for himself. Raw, honest, brutal sometimes. I was weak today. I let anger control me. I missed the opportunity to help. But also, I kept my promise. I stayed disciplined when it was hard. I showed up. This practice makes you ungovernable. Because when you're auditing yourself every night, you stop caring what other people think. You stop making excuses. You become accountable to the only person who truly matters, yourself. Be honest right now. When was the last time you actually reflected on your day? Not just scrolled yourself to sleep, but sat with yourself and asked, did I become better today or worse? Most people can't remember because they're running from themselves, scared what they'll find if they actually look. The Stoics ran toward themselves. They wanted to see the truth, even when it hurt, especially when it hurt, because you can't fix what you won't face. Tonight, no phone, no TV, just a notebook and 5 minutes. Write 3 things. 1 thing I did well today. 1 thing I did poorly. 1 thing I'll do differently tomorrow. That's it. Nothing fancy. No perfect sentences. Just honesty. Do this for 30 days and you'll have 30 reference points showing you exactly who you're becoming. You'll see the patterns, the growth, the places where you keep failing. And with that information, you become someone else entirely. So let's bring this together. 7 practices. Every day. Non-negotiable. You wake up and prepare your mind before the world attacks. You embrace discomfort before comfort makes you weak. You guard your attention like the precious resource it is. You speak less and listen more. You do the hard thing first before fear can negotiate. You practice gratitude by imagining loss. And you audit yourself every night, improving by inches. Here's what nobody tells you about transformation. It's not one big moment. It's not a lightning bolt revelation. It's boring. It's repetitive. It's the same 7 things done over and over until the person who started is unrecognizable to the person you become. Marcus Aurelius didn't become Marcus Aurelius in a day. Seneca didn't master himself in a week. Epictetus spent decades refining these practices, but they did them every single day. And that's the difference between people who change their lives and people who just talk about changing their lives. If you've made it this far, you're already different from 90% of people. Most people clicked off in the first minute. They're scrolling, distracted, still looking for the easy answer. You stayed. You listened. You know what needs to be done. So now comes the only question that matters. Will you actually do it? Or will you close this video, feel inspired for 30 seconds, and then go back to the same patterns that brought you here? The Stoics would tell you, the choice is yours. It always has been. It always will be. If this video spoke to you, hit subscribe. We go deep into Stoic philosophy every single week. No fluff, no motivation without action. Just real practices that make you stronger. I'll leave you with one final thought from Marcus Aurelius. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. 7 practices. Every day, your life won't change. You will.